And hello, everybody. No theme music yet because I'm playing around with some fancy bits and bobs. Dave Tyndall, James Butler, Late Tea Time podcast, talking about all things golf, leaving it as late as possible to bring you the very best bets ahead of the golfing action. We've got some new overlays, basically. So if you're watching this and not listening, we can go into little boxes like that. We can do all sorts of different things. So still playing around with all that kind of stuff. But DT, how are you in your little box?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I'm impressed. I'm in a little green box.
So playing around with a few things, and also just a point of reference there. That's going to come up at the end, but I'll bring it up now. Late Tea Time podcast is now on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. So you know the Twitter handle already at Late Tea Time Pod, but Late Tea Time podcast on Facebook and Late Tea Time podcast on YouTube as well. So if you want to play along on either of those, subscribe to those channels, and you can keep in touch with me and DT as we go through. Two tournaments we're looking at today, DT.
We are, yes. Always seems to be two tournaments. Well, there is a third tournament, but we're not discussing that one.
I mean, when I've been playing around with my graphics, I've only put up the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Yes.
But we have got the Hero Open as well to look at. But whilst the graphics up, let's have a look at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. And if I go into Odds Checker to find out the latest prices there, the winner of that tournament, Patrick Cantlay, is actually favourite in the market as we stand. He is 11 to 1. You've got Tony Finau, the winner of last week, 16 to 1. Will Zalatoris, 16s as well, 18 to 1 for Cameron Young. Max Homer, 25 to 1. Adam Scott's 35s, as is Cameron Davis, and the rest are bigger. DT, as I said in the intro there, we leave it as late as possible so your gargantuan golfing brain can soak in all of that information, the rumour, the gossip, the press conferences. Where has that taken us this week?
Yeah, I've as the week's gone on, obviously I write some of my previews on Monday and then start to sort of have other thoughts or other information comes in. That's why we do this podcast. So one person I did like quite a bit at the start of the week was Max Homer.
Okay.
And I've grown to like him even more. They've actually interviewed him today, which is Wednesday.
He's a very nice man, DT.
He's an excellent man, yes. He's good value. He's on a bit of a... He's always seems to be in good spirits, but he played, I don't know if you remember, he played the first two rounds of the Open with Tiger Woods.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a thrill for him, and he seems to have those positive vibes. He talked about that in his press conference.
But he also, ahead of that round with Tiger Woods, he tweeted that he was playing with the freaking GOAT. He likes his Twitter, doesn't he, in social media?
Yeah, he's good on it. He really is good on it. Yeah, he's a very likable chap, but he's also a very, very fine golfer. He's won twice this season already. And I do like him for this week. So apart from the Tiger stuff, the most relevant thing that he said about the Rocket Mortgage Classic was a kind of opening comments when he said, "Happy to be back. I really like this golf course. It's the old school track. Got to drive it straight. That's something he can do. Got a bunch of funky putts. It's Poana Greens, which is home to me. So I enjoy coming here." So he's really does think this course plays to his strengths. Now, if you look at some of his play here, so last time it's a new tournament. We've only had 3 editions. He's played in a couple of them, but last time he made the top 25 in 2021. Shot a second round 65, which had him up there. Just didn't do so well on the Saturday, but as I say, he's had a brilliant season this time. 2 wins. Didn't make the cut in the Open in the end, but nothing to worry about there. He's been in excellent form in the United States. One of his wins came at Wells Fargo. That was only in May. Then he was 5th at Memorial, always a class field. That was in June. So time for him to have a big one in July as well. And I think Max Homer at 25 to 1 on a course that suits is worth a bet.
Looking at the prices available, as I said, 25 to 1 best price for Max Homer, and you can get him 8 places with William Hill, and that's probably the best way. Sky Bet as well, 8 places. So Sky Bet and William Hill for Max Homer, 25 to 1, 8 places to win the blimmin' thing. Is that where we're going then for him to lift the trophy?
Yeah, there were various things I looked at, such as driving distance, strokes gained, putting, par breakers, and he's kind of in the top 25% and lower in all of those. So he, when you start to apply the filters, Max Homa's name keeps sort of appearing. So yeah, I just think 25-1 is fine, given that the guy's won twice this season. He's had that excellent experience with Tiger, loves this course, has shot 65 here last year. And it's a chance to get a win before the playoffs start, which is in 2 weeks' time.
So Max Homa then to win the Rocket Mortgage Classic, 25-1, 8 places with Sky Bet and William Hill. Is there anything else on the old Rocket Mortgage? Are we going to go to the hero?
They've also interviewed Will Zalatoris and Patrick Cantlay.
The answer there was then, yes, there's some more, James.
Well, not really. The only one, I think I saw, there's a price boost at Sky Bet, which was Homa, Cantlay and Zalatoris all to have a top 20. I think that had been boosted to 9-1. You might want to just double check that. Seemed quite a nice price because they are 3 players. Cantlay's in excellent form. He played really well at the Open Championship. Zalatoris, we know, is always good. And the fact I like Homa. Are you checking that as we speak? Or
that was with which bookie was that with? You said
Sky Bet.
You keep talking, and I'll check.
Yeah, the only sort of problem with putting up a bet with just one firm, if you don't have an account with that firm, it kind of limits you. But I suppose what I'm saying as well is that I really like Homa and I like Zalatoris and Cantlay. So if you want to play around with them in match bets, etc., you look like you're going to break the news to us.
I haven't got there yet. I mean, Zalatoris is always a fairly safe pair of hands, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big fan of this week's course as well.
I'm going to basically show my uselessness and say I can't actually get there yet. So rather than hold everybody up with this broadcast, I will let everybody find it. If it's still there and it's a good price, then that's available for you as well. Price boost with Sky Bet for Homa, Cantlay and Zalatoris, 9-1 to be all 3 of them in the top 20. That's a decent enough effort there going into the weekend.
Let me just...
Are you going to do it here?
You're going to find it.
You know where you're looking. I don't actually use that website very
Yeah.
often. No disrespect to the people watching from Sky Bet, but it's not a site that I frequent very often.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Sky Bet. We're looking for boosts. Where have they gone? See, this is really planned, isn't it? This week, but it was one that I did fancy. Maybe it's gone down. Maybe it's not there anymore. Yeah, I can't see it, but I do like all those 3 players, but Homa's the official bet.
Well, maybe when you've got a bit more time, watchers and listeners, have a look at Sky Bet to see if you can actually find it, rather than us 2 useless people filling up your airways and time by floundering around looking for it. So I take it that is the Rocket Mortgage Classic done then, in terms of your bets there. So let's head to Scotland. DT Hero Open betting odds. This is a tournament made for you with that name. At top end of the leaderboard or the markets for this one are not there as I press on it. This is a technical. We're having a technical nightmare this week on the Golf Betting Pod. Well, my markets have disappeared. Hero Open. Press on that. Hero Open winner Ryan Fox 11-1. Adrian Otague 22-1. Richie Ramsey 22-1. Romain Langasque 25-1. And my pronunciation of golfers is absolutely marvelous. Any of those strike your fancy, or are you going further down?
I'm going further down. I'm going for Eddie Pepperell, who...
Oh, we tried him last week, didn't we?
Yeah. We did him for first round leader last week. He was actually 10th after the first round, so we were close.
I was following our picks last week, and they all did well, and they all came just outside where we needed them to be, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but he came. He was 10th after round 1, finished 11th. So yeah, the idea that he would play well really did sort of come to pass. And I found today, just an hour or so earlier, I found he'd been on a podcast called The Drop Zone, another golf podcast where they interviewed him, and they'd actually interviewed him at halfway last week, and that was after his worst round of the week. So maybe. There were a couple of reasons to sound a little bit negative, but overall he sounded really positive, to be fair. He said his driver and the way he was holding out with the putter were really strong at the moment. And traditionally, they aren't his strengths. Traditionally, it's iron play. And he sounded like that was something he was still working on. But then, as I say, this was at halfway. By the end of the tournament, it improved to 11th. And I looked at his strokes gained approach numbers, and they were excellent. He was third in that category. So perhaps if they'd interviewed him after the tournament, he might have said, I'm really sort of cooking on gas now. I'm playing well. Now, we come to a course, Fairmont St Andrews. It's not St Andrews. It's a modern course, the Torrance course designed by Sam Torrance. That's about 3 or 4 miles outside of the town, but you can sort of still look down onto it. I think I've played it actually. And even though, because it was built, I don't know, 20 years ago, it's not your classic links, but it does play like a links, the sort of the style and the routing and the thought processes. And Eddie Pepperell has played it a couple of times. He was 5th after 54 holes in 2020. So he had a really good week. So you're adding on that course form to his 11th place last week. The fact that he played really well with his irons as well. If we were winding back a couple of years, Eddie Pepperell would be favourite or second favourite in this tournament. He's 50-1.
Yeah, you can get him 50-1, 7 places with Paddy Power is probably your best way in.
I think you can get 8 if you have another look.
8 places with Coral, 50-1.
Yeah. So he's 50-1, 8 places, Eddie Pepperell. I just think there's a class player who perhaps the bookies don't think there's enough evidence to make him too short just yet, but this is a chance to pull the trigger and kind of be ahead of the curve a little bit. Because Eddie Pepperell, as I say, this is a guy who's finished 6th in the Players' Championship. He's an excellent player. He's led the Open Championship. He loves links golf. I was looking at his record in Scotland, and it's fantastic. It's all top 10s, top 20s. He loves that part of the world, and coming off 11th on the hillside on the links of Hillside last week, he's right there. I think that wasn't too incredible that it ruined his price, but there's so many positives I think from last week that I think he can really kick on here. I think 50-1 is a cracking price on Eddie Pepperell. So
evidence that Eddie Pepperell is turning the corner. I actually retweeted him on our Late Tea Time podcast feed off the back of our discussion on the Live last week. He did some, I don't know if it was the same interview you were talking about, but his quotes and his interview, then video interview underneath, they all regard their back pocket to a higher degree than anything else. So on the basis that he was our pick, and he was also saying the same kind of things we were doing on the podcast last week, I retweeted him last week. So Eddie Pepperell, he's becoming our mate. This side of the Atlantic.
Join the club. Yeah, he's definitely our mate. There's a quote, I think it's on his Twitter feed. Also on his Twitter feed, actually, there's a picture of him playing, I think it's Dumbarnie Golf Links. He played that yesterday, Tuesday. So it sounds like he's gone up to Scotland and he's just sort of loving being back at the home of golf in that kind of links territory. So he's honing his links skills there. But I think on his Twitter feed, there's a quote. He said something like, "When you're gone, when you depart this world, people aren't going to remember you for how much money you had. They'll remember you for what you did and your legacy."
I think that's on that video as well. Because it's obviously a longer video than just that one line quote. And he does say the right things on that. Well, from our viewpoint anyway. Backs up what we were talking about the Live being a little bit more than just the money. Golf history and all that legacy and everything else that's involved in sport is important too. Far more important at the end of the day than a few quid in your back pocket. And all of these guys have got some money anyway. And so Eddie Pepperell is our pick in Scotland, 50-1, 8 places with Coral to win the Hero Open. And in the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Max Homer is carrying our cash, 25-1, 8 places with Sky Bet and William Hill. And if you can find that price boost with Sky Bet as well, which was Homer, Cantlay and Zalatoris, 9-1 to be in the top 20. If it's still around, so I'm sure you guys out there can find it when we couldn't and we floundered. So hopefully you can find that and have that on your betting slip as well. Anything else before I let you leave me, DT?
There is one final thing, actually. Sometimes you have a feeling that I don't know, you're really confident about something, and this is something it's already out there. But if you were to ask me what's my bet of the week, it's probably Eddie Pepperell. But a really close contender is a first round leader bet in that same tournament, the Hero Open. James braces himself.
Go on. I'm turning over to the first round leader markets.
Yeah, it's Dan, 2 A's. Dan. It's Dan Housing or Huizing, the Dutchman. You'll have to scroll quite a long way down to find his first round leader. I think you can get 80 to 1.
Yeah, I'm getting down there, and he's still not appeared just yet.
Look for Dan is double A.
There he is.
Yeah.
Dan Housing. 90 to 1 with Unibet 6 places is the best one.
Right. Yeah. Well, even better. 90 to 1. Yeah. He won the St Andrews Links Trophy back in 2012. It's quite a long time ago, but he is a player who loves links golf. I think if you go on his Twitter feed, he's only got about 2,700 followers. Let's get him some more followers.
Dan, well, the late Tea Time podcast will follow him now.
Yeah, hopefully, and especially if he lands this bet of 90 to 1.
And if he doesn't, we'll unfollow him.
Yeah, immediately. But he's a player. If you look at how he's been starting in recent weeks, he's been shooting really low numbers. I think on his Twitter feed, one of the first posts is a DP World Tour tweet where it goes on about him starting fast. I think he had 4 birdies in his first 5 holes last week. Anyway, last week he was 3rd at Hillside, which reconfirms that he loves the links. As I say, he won the St Andrews Links Trophy, which is a tournament played. I think they have 3 rounds at the old course, which we saw in the Open, and then 1 at the new course. So he loves going to St Andrews. Didn't make the Open, didn't qualify, but he's back. One of his favourite scenes where he won that tournament. Justin Rose has won that tournament, just to give you an idea of the pedigree of some of the winners. There's St Andrews Links Trophy. But yeah, really came good last week with a 3rd place at the Kazoo Classic. Started fast there. Started really fast at the BMW International Open. 2 starts before that. He was 2nd after day 1. Started fast at the European Open. Again, his best round came on Thursday. Now, you put him on any links course, you put together the way he's been starting, and you've got converging trends there. And I think 90 to 1. And it's not a great field this week. He's also got an early tee time, and when I was looking, it's not a big difference, but it seemed to be slightly less windy for the morning guys. So if you want a first round leader bet, Dan Housing.
So it might not be a big difference, but it certainly doesn't count against him, does it? The fact that it might be just slightly less blowy when he tees off early on. Dan Housing, first round lead at 90 to 1, 6 places, and we'll give you a follow, Dan. On
Dan the Man, yes.
Dan the Man, yeah. Some of the stuff they shout, when you're watching the golf, more in the US than in the UK, but it's coming over here as well. It's gone past getting the hole. There's all sorts of ridiculous things they shout.
At the Open Championship, there was a lot of light the candle.
Yeah. What's that about?
Don't know.
If you're holding a candle, you're not going to swing very well, are you? You need to get your grip right on the club. You can't be holding a candle. So don't light a candle. You need 2 hands to light a candle. So how do you even hold the club when you're lighting a candle? I mean, it just makes no sense whatsoever, DT. I mean, we can overanalyze this all evening, and we won't do, because we're going to say goodbye now. But Max Homa in the Rocket Mortgage, he's the man. And Eddie Pepperell is the man for the Hero Open in Scotland. And Dan is the man. Dan Housing, first round leader in that market, 90 to 1, 6 places with Unibet. DT, as always, thank you very much. I don't like the green, by the way. I've looked at that whilst we were doing it. I don't like the green.
You don't like the green? No.
We're going to hide the green. I'm going to have a play with that, and we're going to be different by the time we get back next week.
Do you think it doesn't work with my skin tone? Is that the problem?
It brings out your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You got blue eyes, actually, haven't you? Looking at you. So we're going to get. I'm going to change that. I'm going to kind of work with that over the next week, and we'll come back looking even better. But I've just been playing around with it to try and make us look fancy.
What about a royal blue? A nice blue.
Yeah.
Like
I think blue's my favourite colour. So yeah, by the time you join us next week, everybody, it might be blue.
Or you could. What's the scale? There's a colour scale in it called something like the Pantone scale.
Yeah.
Where I once looked at what colour. The Masters green jacket is a particular number on that scale.
Okay.
So maybe for Masters Week you could do it that.
What I did was I went with. I mean, our logo, as everybody knows, obviously by now, because it's a very famous logo for the Late Tea Time podcast, is a sorty greens. So I've taken our kind of like backdrops and stuff off that, but I reckon we should just go with blue. Because you like blue, I like blue. Everybody likes blue. So let's go with blue for next week. So when you tune in next week, everybody, we will have a different kind of overlays and underlays and everything else going on. And we'll bring the music back because I missed the music this week. But we're going to have the music at the end because I'm still going to play the old outro as we say goodbye to you. But DT, thanks as always for being with me this week. Always a good thing to see you. And hopefully those bets are successful. You frozen? Are you just? That was your moment to say goodbye. Thank you, James.
All right. I thought it was like Police Squad, and I'm frozen. Looks so frozen, and someone will walk past in the background.
Honestly, you just can't get the staff, can you? Thanks out there, everybody, for watching and for listening. And gamble responsibly, of course. Follow us on the various things I said because we have got YouTube and we have got the. Facebook now, so sort those out. I'll also tweet them so you can I'll save you all the energy in getting those, but of course we will see you around about the same time next week.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.